How's it going today, guys? In today's episode, I'm going to be continuing to piggyback off of this long and lengthy conversation I've been having with ChatGPT just about the abandoned farmhouses and the farmers and whatnot. And this is going to be a continuation from the episode that's called The Future Timeline of the Farmer. So check that out if you haven't already. So I asked ChatGPT, why is it that technology can allow a few people to take care of so many acres of farmland now, but technology can't ease the ever increasing tax burden on the residents? It's almost as if the system is in place and designed to get the people out of there now that everything has been settled. It's almost as if everything is going according to plan for the big farm investors and the corporations. And AI responded, "You've put your finger on something very important, and honestly, many rural people feel the exact way that you're describing. Let's untangle it carefully." Talking point number 1. Why technology scales farming, but not taxes? A tractor that once needed a driver can now be autonomous. You have GPS guidance, AI planning, drones, and sensors that make farming far more efficient the larger it gets. Technology moves labor as the limiting factor. One skilled operator can manage thousands of acres now. And corporations love this because every acre adds profit with minimal new cost. And why the tax part of it isn't scalable. Local taxes fund people-centered services like schools, fire, police, libraries, and road maintenance. You can't automate those away the same way you can automate plowing or harvesting. When populations shrink, the per-person share of funding goes up because the school still needs teachers, the county still needs a sheriff, and the roads still need grading. This makes the remaining residents feel punished, even as technology makes the land itself more productive than ever before. Farming efficiency grows with scale, but community costs grow when scale shrinks. That's the paradox. Talking point number 2. The question of being designed to push people out. From the perspective of many farmers, it does feel like the system is rigged. You had the homestead era from the 1860s to the 1920s, where the government wanted settlers. Land was free or cheap, taxes were low, and communities grew. Then you have the modern era, where the land is already divided, settled, and legally owned. There's no need from the state's or corporations' perspective to attract families. Then there's policy choices. There are tax systems that favor land productivity over community viability. Farmland is taxed at current use, but houses and people bear the brunt. The result? It naturally squeezes out the small farmer and the rural homeowner, leaving the land in the hands of big operators. Talking point number 3. Who benefits from this system? Well, of course, corporate farms and investors. They buy cheap land, scale it up, and use technology to run it lean. Empty houses don't bother them. Urban centers. Cheap, abundant food keeps cities stable. The rural tax struggles don't register politically. The government. Because the government doesn't have to spend as much on rural infrastructure if the population shrinks, as in fewer schools, hospitals, and then just overall services to maintain. Who loses? the residents, especially the multi-generation farm families in the rural communities. Talking point number 4. Is it going to plan? In the 1800s, the plan was to settle and fill the West with small farmers, and mission was accomplished. Today, the new logic is efficiency, global food markets, and corporate control. So while no single hand is pulling the strings, the end result does look deliberate. Families leave, corporations expand, houses rot, but the land remains productive. The system doesn't need people on the land anymore. It just needs the land. So to sum it up, technology makes farming scale with fewer people. Taxes and services don't scale that way. So the burden gets heavier for the few people who remain. Whether by accident or design, the outcome is the same. The rural population decreases and the corporate system consolidates. So then I asked ChatGPT, why can't a lot of the taxes be alleviated by technology though? We have the internet. Why do we need schools and teachers and janitors and a big building when everybody can just learn at home? And why can't a robot work on a road just like they do the farm? ChatGPT's response was, you're hitting on a really sharp tension. If technology can revolutionize farming, why hasn't it equally revolutionized taxes and services? Let's unpack this. Talking point number 1. Farming versus services. Why the tech works differently. Farming tasks are highly repetitive. You plow, you plant, you harvest, and you operate in the wide open, in predictable spaces. And success is measured in simple metrics, bushels per acre. It's perfect for automation and scaling. But human services, on the other hand, human services are messy, unpredictable, and personal. They require judgment, empathy, adaptation, and success is harder to measure. An educated citizen or a safe community. It's much harder to automate this without losing quality. Talking point number 2, schools as an example. Why not just online school for everyone? Kids need socialization, not just information. And classrooms teach cooperation, discipline, as well as conflict resolution. And many rural homes lack reliable broadband, as Eastern Washington still has broadband deserts. Parents often can't or won't monitor at-home learning, especially in working households. And teachers and janitors aren't just content deliverers. They maintain order, provide mentorship, spot abuse, and keep environments safe. So while technology can supplement, it can't fully replace the human and community functions of a school. Talking point number 3, roads as an example. Why not robotic road crews? Farm fields equal predictable soil and crop cycles, but roads equal variable materials, weather damage, traffic, drainage issues. Plus, the repairs are messy and irregular. Some automation is creeping in, like asphalt, pavers, and paint liners, but road work requires coordination with utilities, planning departments, and safety crews. A broken culvert in the middle of nowhere just isn't a machine problem. It requires judgment about budgets, traffic, and engineering. So robots could do more road work eventually, But the biggest cost is materials and logistics, not just labor. And technology doesn't make gravel, asphalt, or bridges cheaper. Talking point number 4, why technology hasn't reduced taxes. Service expectations rise. When something gets cheaper, like information, people demand more, like higher education standards, healthcare access, and social services. Then there's institutional inertia. Schools, counties, and states are built on 19th and 20th century models, and they don't pivot quickly. Then there's political economy. Agribusiness lobbies to keep their taxes low. Homeowners pick up more of the burden because they're less politically organized. Then there's hidden subsidies. Many taxes actually prop up rural life already, like road maintenance, postal service, and Medicare. If those were stripped, abandonment would accelerate even faster. Talking point number 5, the core answer. Technology could absolutely chip away at costs with online schools and semi-automated road crews and telemedicine, but it can't erase the human element, and it doesn't fix the structural tax imbalance between corporations and residents. So instead of lowering taxes, tech often just shifts where the money goes. I didn't fully agree with ChatGPT and all of the assumptions that it made, because I think that with technology we can most definitely alleviate the tax burden, as well as, creating more productive and cheaper and efficient farming systems themselves. I think that school can be done online, and we don't need a big building and teachers and all of that anymore. And kids could socialize in different ways. Have a park somewhere in town where kids can go play. I mean, it's not like school's the only place where they can socialize and learn how to interact with each other. And then I think post offices are starting to become more and more pointless due to technology and so on and so forth and things like that. So anyways, after I got that explanation from ChatGPT, I asked it, I said, I would like you to sketch out a technologized rural county thought experiment where schools, roads, and healthcare are fully technology ran. And I would like to see how taxes could actually fall if that system embraced that shift. And it responded with, perfect, let's dive into the thought experiment. We'll imagine a technologized rural county where automation, AI, and digital infrastructure have replaced much of the human labor in schools, roads, and healthcare. The goal is to see if the county fully embraced technology, if they could shorten the tax burdens and actually shrink the tax burdens themselves for the residents, or would they stay high for other reasons? Let's break this into stages. Talking point number 1, the technologized rural county thought experiment. Number 1, the schools. The traditional model as of 2025. The rural county keeps open 2 to 3 public schools, an elementary school, a middle/high school, and possibly even a preschool. The costs are the teacher's salary, the administration, the janitorial staff, the buses, the food programs, heating and cooling, as well as maintenance. The per pupil costs in rural counties often exceed $12,000 to $15,000 a year because of the low population density. But the new model would include AI teachers, meaning each student learns through personalized AI tutors via tablets and virtual reality with adaptive pacing. as well as hybrid micro campuses. Instead of full buildings, small community hubs with 1 to 2 staff, not teachers, but facilitators or mentors. You also can have virtual classrooms where students can still interact with peers, but the teacher is a system. The costs could drop because there'd be fewer staff, smaller facilities, and lower transportation costs because you wouldn't need buses anymore. The estimated reduction would be 50 to 80% compared to the traditional. The catch would be the human connection, socialization, and equity issues. Wealthier families can supplement with tutors while poorer ones can't. Talking point number 2, roads and infrastructure. The traditional model as of 2025 is rural counties maintain hundreds of miles of roads. Human crews are required for grading, snow plowing, and asphalt patching. The budget is often strained with fuel costs, pensions, as well as overtime pay. But the new model would have autonomous road graders, plows, and patching bots, which would be machines that can scan for cracks and potholes and fix them without crews. You could also install sensor-embedded roads. They would be self-reporting on the pavement health. And then you can also do drone inspections of bridges and culverts. The costs would drop. There'd be reduced labor, fewer accidents, and the predictive instead of reactive repairs. The estimated cost reduction would be 40 to 60% long term. The catch would be high upfront investment in robotics and smart infrastructure. Small counties may lack capital to adopt without state or federal grants. Talking point number 3, healthcare. The traditional model as of 2025, rural hospitals closing but still expensive when open. Shortages of doctors, nurses, and specialists. Residents often drive 60 plus miles for care. Under the new model, there'd be AI diagnostics and telehealth kiosks. Residents visit local clinics staffed by nurse technicians, and AI handles a lot of different aspects of the experience as well as the diagnosis. Remote robotic surgery hubs, centralized specialists that operate with robotic arms in rural sites, drones delivering meds and test samples, wearables feeding constant health data to AI systems. Costs would drop. You would need far fewer specialists physically present, less patient travel, and lower hospital overhead. The estimated reduction would be between 30 and 50%, but there would be many catches like privacy concerns, unequal broadband access, and dependence on corporate-controlled platforms. Talking point number 4, tax implications. If a rural county adopted all 3 systems at scale, the education budget could fall by 60%. The road maintenance budget could fall by 50%, and the healthcare subsidy cost could fall by 40%. On paper, this might mean the county property taxes could drop between 30 and 50%. But here's the twist. Talking point number 1, capital costs. Buying AI infrastructure, robotics, and broadband networks requires heavy debt or federal subsidies. Taxes may not fall until long after adoption. Talking point number 2, corporate middlemen. If systems are run by AgriCorp-style contractors, savings don't go to taxpayers, they go to shareholders. The residents may still pay high taxes and user fees. Talking point number 3, equity costs. Savings may come at the cost of human jobs and community cohesion, hollowing out the county even further. The bigger picture in all this, even if taxes dropped, the question would become, what does it mean to live in a county where every function is technologized? Kids grow up with AI teachers, not humans. Roads are patrolled by silent robots, not local crews. Medical advice comes from an algorithm, not a trusted family doctor. The county budget looks lean, but the community feels hollow. It could work on paper, but socially and politically it might accelerate the very exodus we've been talking about. The land needs fewer people, and so the system makes it easier to live without them. The bottom line is, yes, a technologized county could shrink property taxes by 30 to 50% in the long run, but only if savings are passed to residents instead of corporations. The deeper question isn't whether taxes go down, but whether such a place is still livable, or just a shell where people are tolerated only because the machines aren't yet fully in charge.